703. Did you see what Austin Rivers said? Compare Reaves to Poole. Yeah, we'll play that sound. Oh, you have the sound? Let's hear what Austin Rivers had to say about Austin Reaves and Jordan Poole. Because Austin Reaves, I'm warmed up to him. He's a nice young player. He's a nice little player.
So now he's good.
I love
Austin. He's a nice player.
I love his talent. His best skill is how aggressive he is as a player. He's aggressive every time he gets the ball. He's in attack mode all the time. Turn it over, miss shot, don't matter. He's not the quickest, can't jump the highest, not the greatest shooter, not the most skilled. He can do a little bit of everything here and there. He's aggressive. He attacks. I love it. And he competes. His skill level is not the same as Jordan Poole's. It's not even in the same realm. It's not. I don't know if you see the shit that Jordan Poole does.
No, Jordan Poole's crazy.
And the range he has, the shot making ability. If you're talking skill level for skill level, they're not even in the same. And I say this as an Austin Reaves fan. I like his game. He's nowhere near Jordan Poole. Let's not get it twisted in terms of skill level.
I feel like Jordan Poole's so saucy. Whenever he gets the ball, it's too much. It's too much.
That's where the other half of this comes. Well, okay, for what Austin Reaves lacks in ability, or maybe certain skill levels, not being matched to Jordan, he makes up in how hard he plays on both ends. Does he play the right way? Can he fit in almost any team system in the NBA? Does he get to the foul line? Is he efficient? Does he know his role?
Do his teammates like him?
Does he buy in? Does he do everything you ask him? I mean, bro, we just named 9 things. So he does all these things well, and he's solid. This guy, who's probably a better basketball player and has a skill, is so erratic that he's either 30 or 2.
The highs and lows. The highs and the lows are low.
Yeah, the highs and lows, where this guy's just consistent.
Who is asked to do more on their respected teams this year, you think?
Jordan Poole.
Who had higher expectations?
Jordan Poole.
I think moving forward, it'll be interesting to see what Austin Reaves evolves into or devolves. We're so quick to anoint people, and we did this with Jordan Poole, and I'm probably guilty of this. We'll see, because he's due for a payday this offseason. Like, we'll see. I'm still wait and see on Austin Reaves. I like him. I'm not saying I don't like him. But I think that they're at different spots in their careers.
I think there could be an argument the Lakers asked Austin Reaves to do more in these playoffs. He was a starter. Jordan Poole was getting no minutes at critical points in some of these games, though.
Would you also agree that he was their clear-cut fourth option on offense?
I think Reaves' post-trade deadline turned into that for the Lakers.
Not in the playoffs.
I think he was their third option.
You think he was over
I think he should. I
thought D'Lo asserted himself in the Warriors series better.
Well, no, I thought Reaves the last three games against the Golden State Warriors. Austin Reaves was really good.
Yeah,
and I actually think they snuffed out D'Lo with Gary Payton II. D'Lo was not a factor.
No, but I thought he was a higher priority on their pecking order. But maybe I'm misinterpreting that.
He had the good game 1. He had the good game 3. But I thought other than that, Austin Reaves, as the series got deeper and deeper, he got better and better and better. Austin Reaves is a good player, man. And I thought last night the Lakers should have maybe force-fed him a little bit more. I don't think he got the shot at tips.
I hated that he was the inbound passer. I would have liked him to take that last. And I know it's LeBron. He's going to have the ball in his hands. But come on, draw up a play. Do something there. That's where I think Darvin Ham's rookie head coach showed.
Austin Reaves gets to the line.
LeBron's a veteran head coach. I mean, he should know.
Well, LeBron.
No, he's the head coach. We all know this.
I could put some respect on Darvin Ham. I thought Darvin Ham had a big voice in that locker room. I actually did. I thought Darvin Ham, look, you're going to have a polarizing player like LeBron James, but Darvin Ham ain't no punk. Put some respect on his name. He ain't just finna be there to be a puppet. I don't think that's in Darvin Ham's DNA.
No one's saying he's a puppet, but in a final possession like that, like LeBron's the one who's going to be dictating who's getting the ball and where they're getting it. Like, that's just how it is.
Yeah, probably. I mean, don't all-star players do that though?
I think LeBron more than others. I think it's pretty obvious. Like, he's run out a lot of different coaches. I mean, look at his resume.
Well, that's not good. And that's why he can't be my GOAT. You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMG FM and HD1, San Francisco. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Download the Odyssey app and favorite 95.7 The Game for the best and most up-to-date sports coverage. Don't forget that you can also watch us every single day on our YouTube and Twitch streams. Just log on and search 95.7 The Game. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel while you're there. Jordan Poole, whether he's better than Austin Reaves or not, he does have some sauce. Jordan Poole does have some sauce. That's why I go back to that trade Willard proposed. And everybody was
that
like,
trade again for those
that trade that Willard proposed was Jordan Poole, Jonathan Kuminga, Andrew Wiggins for Jaylen Brown and Malcolm Brogdon. 6 men of the year.
Don't like Malcolm Brogdon.
Well, Malcolm Brogdon, you want to talk about Jordan Poole's defense? Let's go watch Malcolm Brogdon's defense tonight against Miami. Let's go watch his defense against Philadelphia and James Harden. It's not been good. Has not been good. So then you give up 2 young assets in Kuminga and Poole, and you give up a player. This is what I want to ask. How much better is Jaylen Brown than Andrew Wiggins? Was Andrew Wiggins not the best player, better player in the fight? You take away Steph Curry. We know Steph Curry was the best player last year in the NBA Finals. What's the next best player? What's Tatum? Because Wiggins shut him down. What's it Jaylen Brown? Because at times Wiggins was on him.
And Clay did a good job
on him.
I think we've forgotten that final series. I thought Clay did a much better job on Jaylen than we gave him credit
I didn't
for.
Forget. Trust me, I didn't forget.
Well, we know you're Clay's biggest fan.
Yeah, I didn't forget. No, I just think people scoffing at 300-made threes, scoffing at some of the things that Klay Thompson did. Oh, yeah, he had a bad stretch against the LA Lakers. I get it. Open shots he missed, and trust me, I was as disappointed as anybody else out here. But we just go, hey, Klay Thompson, 300 threes, that's nothing. Who cares? Okay, sure. Let the league at 3-point makes. Anyway, Andrew Wiggins. How much better is Jaylen Brown than Andrew Wiggins?
I'm unwilling to part with Wiggins unless it is a really, really good deal for the Golden State Warriors. And right now, I think you would be surrendering perimeter defense for another guy who's a perimeter defender. But
how much better is Jaylen Brown than Andrew Wiggins?
I think throwing in JP and throwing in Kuminga for Brogdon, like if we're going Wiggins and Jaylen, I think they're closer than people want to admit. That I agree
Jaylen's better. But I think Wiggins is right there.
No, I think they're closer than we want to admit. I'm with you there. But then when you get to the JP and Kuminga for Brogdon portion of it, to me, that's an overpay. That's where I go, where I think you're overpaying. Like, why am I throwing in Kuminga?
So my thing was yesterday at the panel, everybody was saying the Celtics would do that trade. And I'm thinking to myself, I think the Celtics would do that trade.
Well, I think Boston in general, like what we don't realize out here in the West Coast, that I was blown away when we got out there.
They do not like Jaylen Brown.
At all.
And there was a conversation about who's the one. And they were like, get rid of Jaylen Brown.
This was last year. Jermaine
Wiggins was like, yo, I don't like Jaylen Brown at all.
Yeah, and I think what Wiggins did against them is going to resonate with that fan base and that organization. Wouldn't you agree? When you play a team in the playoffs and a guy puts his imprint the way that Wiggins did in that series, it's hard to not have your eyes jaded by that.
So Brogdon's 30 years old. He's an older player. Mm-hmm. You get less athletic by going to Brogdon from Jordan Poole. So he's 6th man of the year. I don't like the deal whatsoever. If I'm the Celtics, and I'm thinking to myself, boy, I have to make a decision on a super max extension with Jaylen Brown, who's now eligible to sign a $295 million super max extension with the Celtics. That will make him the richest player in NBA history. That's what we're talking about here. Jaylen Brown, $300 million, basically.
But here's another element of that. Bringing him in, does he make more now than Steph Curry?
That's what it is.
How does that sit with everyone?
So you got a 300 player.
I'm asking.
I know. Yeah. Well, we'll get to that.
Okay.
Because
I don't know.
No, that's probably not sitting well on anybody. But think about that. Jaylen Brown now is your $300 million player. You have Wiggins and Poole who don't even make that combined with their big deals. They don't make that combined.
And as we're worried about money because of what their salary situations are. Yep.
And then you get and here's the other factor. You get a wild card at Kuminga, who we saw. I'm
just not ready to get rid of him.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know I don't understand why we're in such a rush to get rid of Kuminga.
So here's my thing with Willard. He brought up the trade yesterday. We were talking about it, and mostly on the panel, people were like, oh, we accept that deal. And I'm thinking to myself, Boston would accept that deal. I'm telling you right now, Boston would accept that deal. Because here's what happens for Boston. You get rid of Brown, right? There's no more conversation about who's the number one. It's Jason Tatum. It's your team. You're the guy.
Well, they would also move Marcus Smart and Derek White in a deal like that. They would move those guys elsewhere, or one of the two of those guys elsewhere.
Or you keep them to add depth, right?
Well, because I just think that one of them is expendable. If you bring in Jordan Poole.
Well, Derek White would be expendable because I think he's overrated.
He's $17 million.
Well, let's just say they're on the side. Forget them for a minute.
Sorry.
You got Jason Tatum, your clear-cut number one option. This is your team, Jason Tatum. Okay, cool. I don't have to worry about force-feeding Jaylen Brown or whatnot. Andrew Wiggins. What do we know about Andrew Wiggins? He don't mind being the second or third option.
No.
He'd be perfect alongside Jason Tatum. Plays very good. I think his defense is very comparable to Jaylen Brown's.
Are you ready to give up on Wiggs, though?
I'm not. What I'm saying is, in that deal, listen to me, what I'm saying, the Celtics would accept that deal because Wiggins is that good. I would not do that deal if I'm the Golden State Warriors. If it's Brogdon and Brown, I'm getting back. For Wiggins, Kuminga, and Poole, I say, hell no, I'm not doing that deal if I'm the Golden State Warriors. That is giving up way too much.
Would you want Robert Williams or Grant Williams?
Grant Williams?
I'm just asking.
Grant Williams?
I'm trying to think of some of their ancillary pieces. Horford, I think, makes $10 million next year.
Are you kidding me?
I'm just asking.
This dynasty would be over quicker than we all think.
I'm just asking.
Grant Williams? Wow. Hell no. Keep that dude away from us. Hell
I'm
no.
just asking.
The same Grant Williams
Robert Williams, his leg is all screwed up.
Grant
Would you
Williams,
take him?
the same Grant Williams
I'm just asking.
who talked to Jimmy Butler game 2 because he hit a 3 and then got his ass cooked straight up to the bench.
He got his head stepped on.
What?
I'm just asking.
Grant Williams?
What would it take then for you to accept
hold on.
that deal?
I'm not accepting that deal, Shasky. What I'm trying to explain here is I'm not accepting that deal if I'm the Golden State Warriors. For Boston, if you get that deal, listen to me now. Jason Tatum's your clear-cut number 1. Wiggins is your number 2, number 3 option. Jordan Poole has a new lease on life, and he's a starter.
Okay.
And now all of a sudden he's like, wait a minute, I got Jason Tatum, I got Andrew Wiggins, look at all the space I get to work with at the Boston Garden.
And you look at the Eastern Conference, and there's not that great of elite guard play in terms of defensively.
No, thank you.
I mean, I think Drew Holiday, obviously Milwaukee would have a word. But
and last but not least, Jonathan Kuminga gets a new lease on life. And he's going to see 20 minutes a game in Boston.
Yeah.
And he gets back closer to New York City, where all his family and friends are. Andrew Wiggins is closer to Toronto. They're all on the East Coast. New lease on life. Kuminga in a Boston uniform playing alongside Jason Tatum, where he gets to play his role. If I'm the Boston Celtics and Mark Willard called up saying on behalf of the Golden State Warriors, here's Kuminga, Poole, and Wiggins. You can have them. Give us Jaylen Brown and Michael Brogdon. I guarantee you the Celtics do that deal. But on the flip side, it's kind of it's a lot of it's a lot of contradicting hypocrisy. No, that's not the word I'm looking for. But it's kind of funny to your boy that Poole and Kuminga aren't good enough to play on the Warriors, but all of a sudden you're going to get a guy like Jaylen Brown who's an all-NBA player.
Aren't you the one that says there's always a fool in the NBA who thinks that
There's always a sucker. There's always a sucker. I'm saying for the people who speak on Poole, I think Poole and Kuminga are good. I wouldn't give up on those guys. Me personally, I think they're good players. But there's always a sucker in the NBA who will take a guy at a low value saying, wait, this guy started to average 25 a game. Now we're laughing at 25 points per game as a starter? So all I'm saying, Shasky, is that deal, if I'm the Boston Celtics, because I heard a lot of yesterday saying the Boston Celtics wouldn't do that deal. Why wouldn't they do that deal?
Well, because of, I think, the unknown with Andrew Wiggins. Like, the one thing that they do know, because I know that they're frustrated with the inconsistency of Jaylen Brown, and maybe there's a fit that we're not accounting for. Like, Wiggins did miss 45 games this year.
He did.
And if I'm a team that's receiving him, I would want to know some context behind that.
So, okay, you'll get some context behind that.
And I know that people think that that's some off, like, no, that you can't discuss that. I'm just being real. If I was a part of an organization that was acquiring Andrew Wiggins,
and they will,
I would probably want to know a little more about what happened there.
But is that the first time?
Just to know, like, hey, moving forward, are we going to have
Is that the first
absences?
time? Is that the first time Wiggins missed a long
he was an Iron Man for the Warriors.
Yeah, he's an Iron Man throughout his career, right?
No doubt.
So maybe this isn't a one-off.
Well, but that's why I would want to have some context. I mean, I think any employer would.
I don't think Jaylen Brown's that much better than Andrew Wiggins. I think he's a better player. I'd bet on his future, but I don't think he's that much better.
As an attacker on offense, does he provide something? Is he a little more aggressive than Andrew Wiggins?
Possibly. But they're both inconsistent.
I
just watched Jaylen Brown. He's had playoff games where he shot 3 times in the last 3 quarters.
But what about having a guy opposite Steph Curry who can guard those elite guys on the perimeter?
Wiggins could guard those guys.
Jaylen's a little twitchier. I think he can guard the smaller guys a little better.
Did Wiggins not guard those guys, though?
No, he did a good job. I think they're just they're slightly different body types. I look at Jaylen as more nimble against the smaller guys, whereas I think Wiggs can guard some of those bigger dudes.
Yeah.
I mean, they both have strengths.
I mean,
I don't want to part with Wiggins unless
Fox.
it is a really good deal.
Wiggins guards Fox. He guards
true.
He guards a lot of guys that Jaylen Brown guards. I don't know if we're thinking this one through here. I don't like the trade anyway. All right, let's continue.